Let me ask you about Leonard Fournette, though, because that's a whole different thing. He cleared waivers after the show yesterday, which means that nobody claimed him for what would have been the $4.1 million he would have counted against this year's cap if anybody had claimed him. This lends credence to Jacksonville's claim that they couldn't get anything for him. Why wouldn't you just trade him a 7? Because if you trade a 7, you have to pay him 4.1. And Leonard Fournette is not going to make – nobody thought that Leonard Fournette was worth $4.1 million next year. Nobody. Okay, they had 2 chances. Every team in the league had a chance to trade for him. That news travels fast. Every team in the league had a chance to pick him up. 0 for 2 times 31. So now you can go sign Leonard Fournette for less than $4.1 million, maybe half, maybe 2/3, maybe $1 million prove-it deal. I don't know. If you're the Saints, are you interested? Now, this is the Latavius Murray role here.
Absolutely.
You're talking about a younger, more productive, and potentially cheaper alternative than Latavius Murray.
So as I look at this, and we talked about it the other day, anytime you go back to your hometown, it's difficult because
Tell everybody why.
You're going to get ticket requests. You're going to get, hey, let me borrow something requests. You're going to probably get people coming out of the woodwork. Hey, remember me? I'm your cousin twice removed from your mother's side. I mean, you're going to have all of that. And there's even when you play like one game in your home state, like when we come and play the Saints, I just like get ready for it. And I tell you, my wife's taking all the calls, all the requests. Just send them to her. If we play in Dallas, which is obviously close to Shreveport, hey, send them to my wife. I don't have time to deal with that. So I always look at that when somebody talks about going home. And sometimes the homecomings can work well, but I just think when you look at what he could give this team, they already have a guy. Now, he's not the player that Leonard is by any means. I think Murray's a good player, but he's not Leonard Fournette, but he's good enough in that spot. And they've already got him built in, his contract built in to what he can do for you. So I know Matt. I listened to Matt yesterday. I know Matt's a big proponent of making that deal. And I understand the ooh and ah of it because it's Leonard Fournette. He's available, and you could use some help at the running back position depending on what happens with Kamara. But since you already have a guy in that place, I think there's other places for Leonard Fournette once eventually that deal, because somebody's going to offer him a deal. I think there's places that could be better for his career. There's teams that are more running back hungry than the New Orleans Saints are.
I agree with the last part of what you're saying. I'm really torn on this one, okay? Because when he's right, he's a better football player than Latavius Murray right this second, okay? And the price tag, which is, I have to bring this up every time. Jimmy used to get aggravated with me. Anytime I'm talking about an NFL player, there's a price tag along the side of him. It's, hey, that guy's really good if he's a third-round pick, and not really good at all if he's a first-round pick. At $1 million.
Why do you always pick on third-round picks?
It's just a number. I could have said fourth round pick. I'll start saying fourth round pick, so I don't offend you. A guy that costs $8 million and a guy the same guy costs $1 million. I think very differently about at a mega deal, at a $4.1 million deal. Even I'm not that excited about Leonard Fournette. At $1 million, he's essentially, wait for it, free. He's essentially free. He gets a 1-year prove-it deal in his hometown on a team with a chance to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They get a guy that should not be available based on his talent level that is available, and we all know why. He's had off-the-field issues. He's had locker room issues. Is Leonard Fournette focused and in the right frame of mind to come into a veteran, stable locker room and be a part of that? I don't know. I can't answer that, okay? Just based on straight production, age, and cost.
This is his best year last year.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer, okay? If I knew that I could get that amount of production out of Leonard Fournette for somewhere between $1 and $2 million, then it's easy. I have to show Murray the door, and I give him the job. But I don't know if Leonard's commitment level is there. You got to be on time to all the meetings. You got to get along with all of your teammates. You got to be there on game day, not stretching across the field, getting in a fight and getting yourself suspended. If I knew all of those things were in place, which I don't, this would be a no-brainer of a sign. I'm really torn.
So Alvin Kamara last year was 22nd in rushing, 4th as far as receiving yards by a running back. Leonard Fournette was 7th in rushing, and he was 5th in receiving yards by a running back. And so when you start matching those productions up, well, you're saying, well, why wouldn't you go get that guy? Why wouldn't you go make that move? And I think that any team that signed Leonard, their fan base wouldn't be like, why do we sign that guy? But also, you got to look at it from his perspective. Does Leonard, and I don't know where his mindset is, does he want to say, you know what, I've been in a dumpster fire. I've been in a toxic franchise my entire career. I want to go to New Orleans for a year. I want to go somewhere that's has stability to it, that I can learn and grow there because of what I've been in. I don't know that. Or does he say, you know what, I'm going to go to another dumpster fire. I'm going to go to Washington because their best running back is 36 years old and Adrian Peterson. I can probably get some carries there. What does Leonard right now, what does he value? Does he want to go to a bad team and continue to put up monster numbers? Does he want to go to a more stable team, learn, grow, whatever you want to say, resurrect his career for a year, and then the next year go get the stats and go get more money?
I would go with the second part of it for this reason. There's not a big payday out there for him. There's just not. If there was a big payday in Washington, and you said, listen, you got to go play for that team and that owner in that organization, but it's 4 times as much money as you're going to get anywhere else. That deal's not there. If it was, they would have picked him up on waivers. So I would go.
I don't think it's money. I think it's numbers, production, and pride of having a 1,000-yard season.
Well, you can do that other places where you don't have to go into a bad team situation.
But right now, who has a running back availability?
Well, we're talking about the Saints here for a minute.
Okay, and let me throw this one to you. If this wasn't Leonard Fournette, who didn't play at LSU, and we're talking about the team down the road, and you saw Alvin Kamara and you saw Murray right now and what they have, would you be lobbying for them to sign a running back?
Well, if I'm trying to think.
If we're trying to keep these things close to home because we root for both teams.
Melvin Gordon. Okay, if Melvin Gordon were available for this amount of money right now, I would say you'd have to take a look at him. Okay, as it was, Melvin Gordon. Do you think Melvin Gordon is better than Latavius Murray just this year?
No.
Okay. Maybe that's a bad example.
And I'm low on Melvin Gordon compared to other people. I understand your point. You're thinking first round pick. Just got paid by Denver when they already had Phillip Lindsay.
Yeah. So let's say for the moment that he wouldn't have gotten paid, that he would have just been, he would have just been a free agent out there that you could have signed on the cheap. I would have taken a strong look at Melvin Gordon. I think he's a little bit better than Murray at this point in his career. So I'm trying to take the Louisiana part out of it and just put the football part. If I'm Fournette, there's one thing that would come to my mind very, very quickly, and it's that for the first time maybe ever in my life, Pee Wee football, junior high football, St. Aug, LSU, Jacksonville Jaguars. If I sign with the Saints for one time in my life, I'm not going to be running into a stack box. Maybe the first time ever in my life, I guarantee you, I'm gonna have a fair numbers fight up at the line of scrimmage. Because if there's anything Sean Payton does better than anybody in the game right now, it's he gets the numbers to his advantage. He gets matchup advantages. He's the absolute best in the business at it.